Gents, 2 pieces of clothing. That's it. 2. Dos. And it'll get more outfits out of them, or you'll get more outfits out of them than most men get out of an entire wardrobe. I know how that sounds, but I've lived both sides of this. I used to own a wardrobe full of stuff and stand in front of it every morning with nothing to wear, okay? Now I can pack smarter, dress faster, and look sharper with a fraction of what I own because I stopped buying clothes and started buying a system. I'm gonna show you exactly what those 2 pieces are, how 2 things multiply into a week's worth of outfits, exactly what to buy first, and the mistakes that wreck the whole thing if you get them wrong. By the end, you'll never say, I've got nothing to wear again. The 2 jacket rule. Right, so open any grown man's wardrobe and you'll find the same thing, right? It's rammed. Look at this. This is my terrible example of a wardrobe which is just loaded with clothes. Shirts he's never worn twice, 3 pairs of jeans that are basically identical, a drawer that won't shut, and somehow every single morning he stands in front of all of it and says the same 4 words, I've got nothing to wear. That sentence makes no sense on paper. He owns 40 different things, but he's standing there in a towel, genuinely stuck, right? And he says it like it's true because for him, it is. Here's what's actually going on, and it's the whole reason this video exists. More clothes was never the fix because the problem was never quantity. The problem is that none of it works together. He's got 40 items and maybe 6 real outfits buried in there because everything was bought 1 piece at a time on a whim with no plan for what it needed to sit next to. A shirt bought in isolation, a pair of trousers bought because they were on sale. None of it was ever designed to talk to the rest of the wardrobe, so it doesn't, okay? It just sits there, taking up space, looking like options while functioning like clutter. Think about it like a toolbox, right? A bloke with 40 random tools he picked up at a car boot sales still can't fix half the jobs around the house because nothing matches. Half the sockets don't fit his ratchet and he's missing the one connector piece that would have made everything else usable. Meanwhile, a bloke with 12 tools chosen properly so every piece works together with every other piece can fix almost anything. It's not about owning more, it's about owning things that were chosen to work together. Your wardrobe is exactly the same. Full doesn't mean useful. Now, here's the sharper truth, and it's why I'm about to give you the smallest possible fix for this. You do not need a bigger wardrobe, you need fewer, smarter pieces that are built to multiply. And the good news is you can prove this to yourself with just 2 items, okay? Not 20, 2. Get 2 things right and you will build more real outfits than that overstuffed wardrobe has ever given you. That's the whole rule, and I'm about to show you exactly what it is. Like I say, here's the rule. You buy 1 blazer and 1 odd pair of trousers. That's it. That's the foundation. Now, odd trousers just means trousers that aren't part of a suit. They're deliberately different from the jacket, okay? You've got this lovely jacket here, peak lapels, 2-button, fantastic navy blazer, right? Then you've got a set of gray trousers, okay? Different cloth, different color. If you choose them right, this becomes the engine of your entire wardrobe. Everything else you own plugs into them. That's why it's called the 2 jacket rule in spirit. 1 tailored piece up top, 1 anchored down below, working together and working apart. Now, let me paint the picture properly because the magic is in the word, odd. Most men think tailoring means a suit, okay? Jacket and trouser cut from the same cloth, worn together always. And a suit's a fine thing, but it's rigid, okay? It's 1 outfit. You wear the jacket without its trousers, and it usually looks wrong because suit cloth is designed to match itself, okay? But a blazer and odd trousers were never a couple to begin with. They're 2 free agents. The navy blazer works with gray trousers, with tan chinos, with dark denim. The gray trousers work under the blazer, they work under a knit, they work under a tee, they work with just a shirt. Every piece stands alone, so every piece combines. Think of it like the difference between a married couple and 2 good mates, okay? The suit jacket and the suit trousers are married. They only ever go out, and if one of them's at the cleaners, the other one stays at home. The blazer and the odd trouser are mates. They're great together, but they've each got their own separate lives, their own circles, their own plans. One suit gives you one outfit, one blazer plus one odd pair of trousers gives you a whole social network of outfits because neither piece is dependent on the other. And here's why this beats everything else you could do with the same money. A man walks into a shop with a few hundred to spend and buys 4 shirts or 2 pairs of trainers or another random jacket he liked on the mannequin. He's added items to his wardrobe with zero system, okay? Spend the same money on one proper blazer and one proper odd pair of trousers instead, and you haven't bought 2 items, you've bought a multiplier. Everything you already own, shirts, knits, shoes, denim, etc., sitting in your wardrobe right now suddenly has 2 new anchors to organize around. You didn't add to the pile, you gave the pile a spine. And in the next section, I'll show you the actual maths of how those 2 pieces turn into a full week of looking sharp. And this is the combination piece right here. Let's do the maths because this is where the rule stops. Sounding like a nice idea and starts sounding like cheating. You've got 1 navy blazer and 1 pair of gray trousers. 2 items, right? Matt, watch what happens when they meet the stuff you already own, okay? First of all, blazer and gray trousers together with a white shirt. That's your sharpest look. We're talking dinner, a meeting, a date. Now, the same 2 pieces with a plain tee underneath is a completely different outfit, okay? It's relaxed, it's modern, but it's still put together. Swap the gray trousers for a dark denim, keep the blazer. That's your smart casual look sorted. Now drop the blazer entirely, gray trousers with just a knit, that's a whole 3rd lane, okay? Then you've got gray trousers with just a good shirt, sleeves rolled, that's summer done. Count that up. 2 purchases and we've just built 5 genuinely different outfits without breaking a sweat. And I was being conservative. Every shirt you own is now 2 outfits. 1 with the blazer, 1 without. Every knit is an outfit over those trousers. Every decent pair of shoes changes the register of all of it. The pieces don't add, they multiply. Okay, you can see here, 2 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different outfits. That's the entire trick. And it's why the man with the rammed wardrobe over here loses to the man with the system every single time. His 40 items were bought as 40 separate decisions. Your 2 were bought as 1 decision that organizes everything else, okay? And here's what that does to your actual morning, because this is the part you'll feel within a week. You stop standing in front of the wardrobe thinking the blazer and the trousers are the anchors. So getting dressed becomes a 2-step question with easy answers. Which anchor am I building on today and what plugs into it? That's it. Either the trousers or the blazer. 10 seconds. The decision fatigue that used to eat your morning is gone because the system made the decisions in advance, okay? You're not choosing from 40 things anymore. You're choosing from a handful of combinations that all already work. There's a deeper point sitting underneath this, and it's the one I keep coming back to on this channel. This is about buying with intention, or this is what buying with intention actually looks like. The bloke who owns 40 random items spent more money than you and looks worse than you, okay? Because he bought clothes and you bought a structure. Every future purchase you make now has a job interview to pass. Does it plug into the engine? Yes or no, okay? If it doesn't, it stays in the shop and you just saved yourself another dead item hanging in the wardrobe, okay? 2 pieces don't just give you outfits, they give you a filter for every buying decision you make from here on out, okay? Now, let's get specific about exactly what those 2 pieces should be because getting them right is everything. Now, the first piece that I really want to mention is no suit jackets, okay? Let's get specific because a blazer and some trousers isn't good enough. The wrong 2 pieces will kill the whole system before it starts. First is the blazer, and there's one answer here. The color is navy, not black. Black jacket on its own reads like a bouncer or a waiter, not something loud. You'll be wearing this thing 3 times a week and the pattern gets clocked instantly, okay? Just think navy, deep navy blazer, okay? It flatters every skin tone. It works day and night and it goes with more colors than anything else you could pick, okay? Get it in a soft, unstructured cut, not a stiff, boxy suit jacket, something with a bit of texture to the cloth so it reads relaxed, not like you've just come from a funeral. And make sure it fits properly through the shoulders. That's the one place you can't fake. Now, the trousers. And the answer is grey, okay? Mid-grey or light grey in a proper trouser, not a suit trouser, not a jogger with delusions. We're talking the right fabric. Why grey? Because grey is the great neutral. It sits perfectly under navy. It works with every shirt color you'd realistically wear, and it dresses up or down without complaint. Wool or a wool blend, if you can. It drapes better and it holds the shape. A decent chino cut works as the softer entry, but really you should be going with a wool trouser. Now, the one non-negotiable, they're a different color and a different cloth to the blazer, okay? Say it again, different color, different cloth. The contrast is what makes them odd trousers, and the odd is where all the multiplication lives. Because here's the mistake I need to kill right now. The one that catches half the men who try this. They hear blazer and trousers and they reach for an old suit and split it up and wear the jacket with other trousers, think they've cracked it. No, okay? Suit jackets and suit trousers are cut and clothed to match each other, right? And worn separately, they look like exactly what they are, half a suit. The cloth is too smooth, it's too formal, too obviously missing its other half, okay? People can't always name what's wrong, but they feel it. A blazer is built to be a free agent. A suit jacket is built to be married. Don't send a married man out on the pool. Now, on money, buy the best you can genuinely afford. And if the budget only stretches to one good piece right now, buy the blazer first and let the trousers follow next month. This is buy once, cry once territory, okay? Those two are the hardest working items you will ever own. They'll be on your body more than anything else in the wardrobe, so cost per wear ends up laughably low, even if the price tag stings on the day, okay? A cheap blazer is gonna portray you the way all cheap cloth does. It shines, it sags, it creases wrong. You don't need designer, you need a proper cloth and a proper fit. Spend where the work gets done. And once those two are in place and earning, then and only then do you start expanding on this system, which is exactly where we go next. So the blazer and the grey trousers are in the wardrobe and doing their job, okay? Now, and only now, you expand. And the rule for expanding is dead simple, okay? Every new piece has to plug into what's already there, okay? You're not starting new outfits from scratch anymore. You're adding pieces that multiply. Winning against the engine you've built. Same discipline, one piece at a time. Each one interviewed before it gets in. Does it work with the blazer? Does it work with the trousers? Does it work with both? Both is the answer you're looking for, right? Now, here's the natural order, right? Third piece, we're talking dark denim, a proper dark indigo jean with no rips and no fade. It gives the blazer a whole second life at the casual end, and it works, okay, with every top you own. The fourth piece is a second trouser in either a tan or a stone chino, okay, a good chino, etc. Now you've got a warm option against the cool gray, and the combinations jump again. The fifth, a couple of knits, a navy or charcoal crew neck that works over a shirt or on its own, under the blazer or without it, okay? In somewhere in there, a second blazer if you want one, something in either a gray or a brown check, okay? But honestly, most men should hold off on that longer than they think, right? The gains early on, all in trousers, knits, and shirts, because every one of those multiplies against the blazer you already own. Now, notice what you're building, a color story, navy, gray, white, tan, denim. Everything in that palette talks to everything else, which is the exact principle I gave you for packing a travel bag, a small set of neutrals where every piece does multiple jobs. Your wardrobe is just the bigger version of that suitcase. Stay inside the story and you can genuinely get dressed in the dark and still look deliberate. Step outside of it, buy that burgundy jacket because it looked great on the mannequin, and you're going back to owning items instead of outfits, okay? And keep this bit of discipline because it matters more than any purchase. One in and then think about one out. Every time something new and systematic comes in, one of those old dead items that never earned its place goes to charity or goes to storage, okay? Because the goal here was never a bigger wardrobe. It was a smaller, harder working one. 12 pieces that all know each other. They beat 40 strangers every other day of the week. That's the engine fully built. But before I let you loose on it, I need to show you the two ways men wreck this system because they're subtle, and I guarantee you'll be tempted by both. The traps, right? There are two. They sit at opposite ends, and between them they catch almost every man who tries this. Trap one, right, is that buying two pieces that are too similar. He buys a navy blazer, then picks up navy trousers because navy's safe. Or a charcoal blazer with grey trousers so close in shade they never touch, or they nearly touch, sorry. And now instead of a sharp, deliberate contrast, he's wearing something that looks like a suit that lost a fight with the wash, okay? Not matched enough to be a suit, but not different enough to be a combination. It sits in that horrible middle ground where people look at you and something just feels off. The whole engine runs on contrast. Clearly different color, clearly different cloth. If someone could squint and think it's a suit you've bought, wrong. Now, trap two is the opposite disease, trying too hard to make everything match. This is the bloke who hears combination and starts coordinating like he's painting by numbers. Brown belt, so brown shoes. So a brown watch strap. Then he finds a pocket square that picks out the exact blue in his shirt and a sock that ties the whole thing together. Mate, stop. When every element matches perfectly, the outfit looks calculated, and calculated reads as nervous. The best dressed men look like they got it right without trying. Things go together, they don't match. Navy and grey and white and tan live in the same family. That's all the coordination that you need. If your outfit looks like it took a spreadsheet, you've overcooked it, okay? And underneath both traps is the same root cause, so let's name it. Both come from not trusting this system. The too similar man is playing it safe because contrast feels risky. The too matchy man is overcompensating because he doesn't believe simple can be enough. Both of them are adding their own fear back into a system that was designed to remove it. The whole point of the engine is that the thinking's been done. The pieces were chosen to work. The job is just to wear them with a bit of confidence and let them do what they were built for. Now, there's one more quiet trap worth 30 seconds, okay? Cheap versions of the right pieces. A man hears navy blazer and grey trousers and nods and buys both for 50 quid total from a fast fashion rail, okay? Right idea, wrong execution. This system tells you what to buy. It can't survive terrible cloth, okay, cheap cloth. A shiny thin blazer with glued seams reads cheap from across the room, and no amount of clever combination fixes that. You don't need to spend a fortune, but you do need real cloth with some weight to it. Get the pieces right and the quality right, and the system genuinely will not fail you. So let's bring it home. Putting the whole thing back together. You came into this video with a wardrobe full of clothes and nothing to wear. And the fix turned out to be two pieces. One navy blazer, unstructured, fits in the shoulders. One pair of grey, odd trousers, different color, different cloth, a proper free agent. Between them, they turn everything you already own into outfits. They kill the morning standoff with the wardrobe and they hand you a filter for every purchase you'll ever make again. Does it plug into the engine? Yes or no, all right? That one question will save you more money than any sale ever has. And I want to land the bigger point because this was never really about a blazer and some trousers. This is about the difference between a man who accumulated and a man who builds. The accumulator buys whatever catches his eye. 40 separate impulses hanging on a rail, and he stands in front of them every morning feeling vaguely defeated. The builder makes a small number of deliberate decisions and lets them compound. Same money, wildly different result. And that pattern runs way past your wardrobe. It's the same muscle you use everywhere. You are the asset, and the asset doesn't need more stuff. It needs the right stuff, chosen, on purpose, working together. So here's your move this week. One action, keep it simple. Go to your wardrobe, find your best candidate for the blazer and the trouser, and be honest about whether they're actually the right colors, okay? Right contrast, right cloth, or whether they're part of the 40 item problem, okay? If you've got pieces, start running the combinations tomorrow morning and feel the difference. If you haven't, you know exactly what to buy first, and you walk into that shop with a plan instead of a mood. Two pieces, one system, everything plugs in. That's the 2 jacket rule. Capiche? Get some, gents.